Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dom with Gone Wrong Gaming, and today we're doing an RPG made an RPG maker, Jojo the Seventh Stand user, Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. I mean Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. So we are gonna basically we're talking to Speedwagon right now. Basically, it covers what it sounds like all of Stardust Crusaders, the whole series. And I skipped over. I played through it briefly, and the tutorial is essentially the first and second episode. You know, like Joseph goes and gets Jojo out of prison, and I might upload it like as a video by itself later. But basically, you get asked a questionnaire, and I'm answering it a bit differently because I did answer this before, and you answer a questionnaire, you get a stand based on your answers. So I'm trying to answer it a little bit differently this time around, and hopefully I get a different stand. And I did. I got Deep Purple. I don't remember what the stand was called last time that I'd done this. It was something. It wasn't Deep Purple, I know that. But I did look through like the list, and I believe there are like 19 different stands you can get. So we're gonna name us will be Dominic, and then our nickname. And then we're just gonna go with an average guy, I guess. So basically, you play as an additional stand user to Jojo, going after Dio, which is actually, I think, something I thought was surprising. Actually, that they didn't just replace or make you play as Jojo or Joseph or Kakyoin or anyone or Abdul or something like that. And they created a whole new character that you'll be part of essentially all of the events that take place. Which means that they did have to rewrite the dialogue a little. Like, your character will have certain lines that came from other characters in the anime. So, and it's funny, when did I first see Jojo? Like, I'm just skipping through this, and I am gonna fast forward through the initial battles. I will say that I like the visuals of this because it looks like a Game Boy game, and while the battles look like traditional RPG Maker battles with the enemies showing up in front of you, and then you have like your party on the bottom. They do something different with the distance, where you have attacks that are more effective at certain distance, and the enemies can move between the three distances. So you have to, you have to match your attacks with how far away they are. And also, one other thing I really like about this is when the enemies change distance, they become. We're just gonna run through here. I've talked to all these people before. They had nothing really to say. When they change distance, they become either a little blurrier or more distinctive. Like, I remember when I first saw someone, is that the sprite for this? Because I was like, it's not that detailed, but the background I do like a lot because it has this little. See, and then he moves closer, he becomes a lot more distinctive. Like, you can make him out better. The backgrounds, I actually realized possibly that they are just still images and then put through Photoshop and have like the background filter or the sketch filter applied to them. But they still look really nice. They could be hand drawn. I could be wrong about what I normally think, but I do like the the art style and the fact that everything's black and white, like in the original game. Well, I mean, Game Boys were like green and white, but it looks real nice. I do like this. But like I said, we're going to fast forward to this. So the stand I have is a control stand, and the original stand I had, whenever I attack, it was one at a time. This one seems to attack the whole party at once, which, I mean, I'm trying to poison them right now. It's not really doing much. But even when I attack by myself, it still attacks all enemies at one time. So, I mean, obviously, there are better stands than others depending on the situation. Like, I know the original stand I had was the healing stand, which ended up helping some. Like, I didn't need healing items and stuff. But so we're gonna do a little bit of grinding before we fight Kakiao. That was it. Kakiao. And we're gonna play. I didn't play very long. We'll do this up to a little bit after the Kakiao fight. We'll see how things go. Because the one thing with this game is, especially at the beginning, because it is setting up a story and it is following an anime, it's very dialogue heavy when it needs to be. So as far as I've seen so far, with the other playthrough I've done, there's there's very little fighting and much more dialogue, but I should probably have explored around a lot more. Oh, excuse me. So, I mean, it probably does get better when after you get to Egypt and when you start actually going after Dio. There's probably a lot more battles and strategy and things that would have to happen to shit. I didn't see this cat here before. I'm not apparently going to catch this thing though because it keeps hopping away. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't know about JoJo until, I don't know, maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half. Or I didn't watch JoJo until about a year ago. I had seen like some of the old fighting games, like I forgot what they were. JoJo's like All-Star Battle or something. So the PlayStation 3 fighting games. And I remember looking at the cover and just being like, what is, like, the title of the anime itself, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Oh, hold on, let me stop for a second, because I am... So, I said you follow the anime. From what... I haven't seen Stardust Crusaders in a while. But from what I remember, this is a little bit different than the anime, maybe. Like, I might be skipping a whole scene out. But I'm going to let it play out. I'm just going to go back to my story, and then I'll go back to what I was saying. So yeah, I remember I saw the fighting games for JoJo, and it was just, I don't know, it was kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it looked not right. Like, I don't know. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure did not sound like an interesting... Well, it didn't sound like an anime, for one, to me. To be honest, it sounded like a bunch of gay guys fighting. And I know that's, like, not the best thing to say, but especially at first glance with the way that characters are dressed, like Jojo and Abdul and not Joseph, but even technically, well, Jojo especially, Jotaro, which would be Jojo. What was the other one? Josuke. Characters like those that are just are dressed the way they are. Kakiao even. Kakioin? It's Kakiao or Kakioin? I believe it's Kakioin. Kakioin. They just... I don't know. It looked weird. But I ended up watching the anime and I went, wow, this is really good. And I ended up liking it a lot. But like I was saying, from what I remember, Joseph and Kakyoin end up fighting in a field or something. Not a field, but like I remember he falls down steps, and he's with a bunch of girls and stuff, and that whole thing is like that. He gets cut, he gets injured, or whatever. And this, after that, like I said, I could be missing a scene. It's been a while since I watched Stardust Crusaders. Especially with him pulling out Kakyoin's stand. I want to say, instead of it being a nurse, it was one of the girls that followed Jojo around. And it infected one of the girls instead of a nurse. So I want to say it's a bit different, but it's essentially still the same scene, just taking place in a different area. But I'm super excited for this game because just like Diamonds Forever and the original JoJo, I don't remember if that had a subtitle or not. But I mean, the anime is fairly long, and then especially, I'm hoping. I doubt it. I'm assuming you can only play with the party members who join JoJo, which I mean, Iggy is one, and I'm really looking forward to getting him. But I'm hoping, like, I don't remember, like the God, what was his name? The blind wanderer or whatever, the blind beggar or whatever he was, that was in the desert that found water and used like water to fight Jojo in the desert. I believe that's what it was. Man, I need to go back and watch this. I'm hoping all of Dio's the people that he gets to fight for him. See, now this let me cut myself off. This I didn't really understand. I assume you're going to join this fight either way. Like, so I should have just stood back and seen what happens, but I was scared. I didn't want, like, Jojo to get, like knocked out, and then I would have to do this fight by myself, which is a possibility now that I think about it. But I assumed that either way, this was going to be a fight that you had to do. Grab some water real quick. Yeah, I mean, I always liked turn-based games. I grew up, I believe the first ones I played were Pokemon, and I had one of the Dragon Warrior games on my Game Boy. And that was, like, of course, Final Fantasy and stuff like that. But the fact that turn-based games are kind of like mini strategy games, like you have to think about what you're going to do next and this and that. I was liked. So I do intend on doing a good amount of RPG Maker. That was really easy. But I did have JoJo and Star Platinum Aura-Oring all over the place. Which, once again, Aura was a, I think it's called like a short move. or a close move or something, and he got close, so it did like 45 damage apiece. So it is RPG Maker battle, but they added their own touch to it, which is really nice. I've been playing. I played the what was the last thing I put up was the Gravity Falls fan game,